If you are a fan of books with intense drama, mystery, friendship, time travel, and historical fiction, and you can have it all rolled up in just one book, then do I have a book for you. Rebecca Steed's young adult novel and the 2010 Newbery winner, When You Reach Me. This book is a complex mystery with a thrilling puzzle. Every word will have you mesmerized and wanting to read more. Each page is better than the one before it, and you will not be able to put this book down. It's 1979 on the Upper West Side of New York City, and Miranda, a 6th grader, much like you, is telling the reader about the events of the previous year from her point of view. This is a year that Miranda will never forget. As our story opens, we hear that Miranda lives with her single mom, a paralegal, who has just found out that she will be a contestant on the TV game show, The $20,000 Pyramid. Miranda is also considering writing a letter to someone who has been sending her letters. Pretty simple so far, don't you think? Are you intrigued? Well, listen to the passage from the novel.
So Mom got the card today. It says congratulations in big curly letters. And at the very top is the address of Studio TV 15 on West 85th Street. After 3 years of trying, she actually made it. She's going to be a contestant on the $20,000 Pyramid, which is hosted by Dick Clark. I checked the box under my bed, and there it is in your tiny handwriting. April 27th, Studio TV 15. The word's all jerky looking, like you wrote it on the subway. Sometimes I still think of the letter you asked me to write. I sometimes work it out in my head, trying to map out the story you asked me to tell.
After Miranda opens the story, she continues to let us know about her happenings in the past year and the writings of a mysterious letter to a mysterious person. Miranda tells us about her best friend Sal, how they met, and how they're not friends anymore because of the first day that Sal got punched in the face by a boy named Marcus, and how Sal suddenly stops talking to Miranda. So now she has to walk home alone in the streets of New York past the Laughing Man on the corner.
If I ever do decide to write you a letter, which I probably won't, this is the story I would tell you. The story of the day I met Sal. Losing Sal was like a long list of bad things, and somewhere in the top half of the list was the fact that I had to walk home alone past the crazy guy in our corner. He showed up in the beginning of the school year, when Sal and I still walked home from school together. A few kids called him a quack. Don't call him a quack, Mom said. That's an awful name for a human being. Well, what do you call him? I don't call him anything, but I think of him as the Laughing Man. When he first showed up on our corner last fall, the Laughing Man was always mumbling under his breath, book bag, pocket shoe, book bag, pocket shoe. He also slept with his head under the mailbox. If you wanted to know what happened that day last winter, it would be easy. Not fun, but easy. But that's not what your note says. It says write down everything that led up to it. There is no answer. The day the whole story began was the day Sal got punched. It happened in the fall on our way home from school. As we passed the garage, a boy in a green army coat took a step towards Sal and blocked our way. He made a fist and punched Sal hard in the stomach. Sal doubled over. Then the boy whacked him in the side of the face. He looked at Sal, tilted his head like he was crazy, and walked away. We walked home in silence, and that is the beginning of the story you wanted me to tell. It was the end of my friendship with Sal.
What does this mean for Miranda and Sal? Well, Miranda and Sal are no longer friends, and Miranda often watches Sal out in the back alley playing basketball by himself. But Miranda decides to make new friends. She meets Colin and Julia and Anne-Marie from school, and together they begin to work at Jimmy's sandwich shop. As the story continues, the drama continues. Miranda finds out that the boy who punched Sal goes to her school and his name is Marcus, and they become friends. One day, Miss talks to Miranda about her book, A Wrinkle in Time by Madeleine L'Engle. They have an intense conversation about time travel. Listen.
Some people think it's possible, you know, mumbles Marcus. He points to my book, Time Travel. Some people think it's possible, except those ladies at the beginning of the book. They lied. What do you mean they lied? They never lied. I was getting annoyed. Don't you remember? Marcus leaned back in his chair. They're traveling through time, right? All over the universe, right? They promised that girl that she'll be home in 5 minutes, but they don't. How do you know they don't get home 5 minutes before she left? I mean, there's no clocks or anything. I put my book down and shook my head. Think about it. They haven't even left yet. How could they have gotten back already? If they land in the broccoli at 8:25, they should be in the broccoli at 8:25. That makes no sense. He smiled like common sense. Have you read Relativity by Einstein? I glared at him.
Are you confused? Are you following? After Miranda's conversation with Marcus, Miranda continues helping her mother prepare for the $20,000 pyramid. She still works at Jimmy's, and she still spends her days with her new friends, when something very strange happens. The key to her apartment goes missing, and she receives her first letter from the stranger in her knapsack, in her library book.
This is hard, harder than I expected, even with your help. But I've been practicing, and my preparations go well. I'm coming to save your friend's life, and my own. I ask 2 favors. First, you must write me a letter. Second, remember to mention the location of your house key. The trip is a difficult one. I will not be myself when I reach you. I was freaked. I told Mom, and she was freaked too. We changed our locks.
Who is this stranger? What does this note mean? Can Sal and Miranda be friends again? Which friend's life needs to be saved? Sal, Marcus, Colin, Anne-Marie, Julia? Will Miranda find the truth she is looking for? What does Einstein have to do with all of this? Will Miranda's mom win the $20,000 pyramid? This novel will keep you guessing and trying to figure out these clues and many, many more. So if you want answers to these questions and you want to know more of Miranda's story, then you need to read Rebecca Steed's novel, When You Reach Me. In every good book that I've ever read, there's always a favorite chapter that sticks with you, or a passage. I leave you with my favorite passage, and if you choose to read this book, I know you will find yours.